Nuggets-Timberwolves, they talked a big game after stealing Game 2 on the road against the Nuggets, with Jaden McDaniels calling several players, including Jokic and Jamal Murray and Aaron Rodgers, bad defenders. Yesterday, Cam Johnson and head coach David Adelman responded to the trash talk. Let's take a listen here.
They've just been saying a lot all season, all series, so let them talk. Let them get everything they want off their chest. I'm cool with it.
Thoughts on Jaden McDaniels' comments about your team's defense?
I can't wait for his podcast.
Well, it was well played there, by the way.
Yes.
But did McDaniels wake up a sleeping giant? And a backstory here real quick, too. This is the spiciest first round.
This is
These two
terrific
teams do
budding
not
rivalry.
like each other,
No,
right?
they don't.
So your reaction to what McDaniels said?
They've been going at it for, what, 3 postseasons now? And my reaction is this is good for the league. Mm-hmm. This is good for the playoffs, this sort of back and forth. You haven't seen as much of that. People want to troll people now. They want to do passive-aggressive junk. I'm old enough to have seen real rivalries where guys went after one another, starting with head coaches.
Yes.
In the 80s and 90s and in the aughts. This harkens back to that. Glad to see it.
Yep.
Glad to see more of this series. People may not think, well, we sit here in New York City, Kevin, of Denver and Minnesota being big rivals. They are that. It's one of the best rivalries in the NBA right now.
Can't wait. And I can't wait to see how Jokic handles it, as well as Murray, because they've been called out after just 2 points in the fourth quarter. Speaking of calling out, C.J. McCollum took over the guard in Game 2 when he led the Hawks on a fourth quarter comeback to stun the Knicks and tie that series. Here's Onyeka Okongwu on his teammates' performance.
Happy for him. He shut that Knicks crowd up. And, he's going to do the same thing tomorrow night here.
About going after Jalen Brunson one-on-one, and CJ's one of those wily veterans. He understands.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
Yes, your reaction to what Okongwu just said.
C.J. McCollum is a leader. It's amazing. He's in Washington in basketball purgatory.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And I mean, I'd be able to go home having said that, but it's true. Mm-hmm. C.J. is bailed out. He's saved. He goes to Atlanta, a place with so many young players that need to be led by somebody who can also still play. And CJ can do both those things. He knew what he was doing when he's in New York. He's not a villain. The line about having a wife and 2 kids was brilliant.
Yep.
And he just sort of laid it back in the lap of the Knicks and Knicks fans in Madison Square Garden. When they get back, for Game 5, we will hear more about that. But C.J. McCollum knows exactly what he's doing. It's up to the Knicks now to figure out how to keep him from getting in the lane like that, getting past Jalen Brunson. Having 32 points would have been 34 if he hits those 2 free throws.
Yeah.
That's very real. And that's more than just leadership. That is still playing at a level that maybe people thought C.J. couldn't play anymore. He is.
They have wings. The Hawks like to run here. When you look at the Knicks, and you look specifically, you have Cat, you got Brunson. Who has to step up to help Jalen Brunson for the Knicks to get back into this? And again, when I say get back, we know it's 1-1. It's for the fan base to feel really good about potentially Series 2 and Series 3 for a deep run.
Anunoby and Bridges are going to have, defensively, you guys can't help shut off some of this. Those are 2 spectacular individual defenders. And so the Knicks are going to have to go to them. Look, they can't hide Jalen Brunson, who's going to have to play better. Perk has made really us laugh about talking about sliding those puppies, and Brunson's going to have to play better. He can't just play one end of the floor because Jalen was terrific, and he kept him in it offensively late, but he was also getting abused defensively. All right, so the Knicks are going to have to go back to sort of last year's defense we saw.
Yeah.
We saw them get past the Celtics. We've seen the Knicks play at a higher level. They're going to have to do that in Atlanta, preferably for them in Game 3.
They got to help Brunson out on the defensive end because he carries such a heavy load on the offensive side.
And by the way,
he's exhausted.
If Mike Brown wants to go to 2 bigs, if he wants to go to Mitchell Robinson and Cat at the same time, and Cat is going to have to be more involved in having 2 shots in the fourth quarter. So there's a number of things that we're mentioning here, Kevin. All of them seem addressable. None of them seem, like problems that the Knicks can't solve quickly, like tonight.
Okay, we'll see how that plays out. Of course, highlights coming your way tomorrow. It's great to have Michael Wilbon's thoughts. Let's talk. It is night one of the NFL draft, but the performance of the night is what we saw from the reigning MVP, that is SGA, and the Thunder taking on the Suns game 2. Remember, OKC coming off a 35-point win in game 1. SGA looking really good early on. They're up by 9, and then under 2 minutes in the first quarter. Step back, drops the triple. Give him that space. You're going to pay for it. Thunder up by 1 after 1. And then, I mean, he makes Dylan Brooks look silly here. And then the message, you got this guy on me? Come on now. He had 37 points. Thunder up by 8 at the break. And then Jalen Williams to Chet Holmgren. Holmgren got hot here in the third quarter. They're up by 11. Less than a minute later, you see Holmgren again. Feed the big fella. He had 11 points and 3 blocks in the third quarter, finished with 19. One storyline. Jalen Williams pushing it. Jalen Williams has had trouble staying on the floor all season with health and some issues with the injuries. And you see the hamstring, aggravated left hammy. He would not return. SGA, he gets the ball back, step back. Yeah, he's healthy. He's looking good. OKC up by 15. Here's the drama. 2 minutes left in the third. Devin Booker gets the ball, drives into the other Jalen Williams. There's a foul called. And the foul's on Williams, but after the play, Booker gets the tech. You see the officials talking. Booker can't believe it, and here's why. He throws the ball backwards, and he's actually trying to keep the ball in bounds. Right, he's keeping it in play. And then afterwards, you see Alex Caruso looking for a technical foul. And then the conversation is going on. James Williams, one of the officials, is there. And then suddenly Booker gets the tech, and afterwards he goes off.
For my 11 years, I haven't called a ref out by name, but James was terrible tonight, through and through. It's bad for the sport, bad for the integrity of the sport. You know, people are going to start viewing this as a WWE, you know, if they're not held responsible. It just feels disrespectful. You know I haven't won a championship in this league, but I have been in it for 11 years now. So to get to this point, to be treated like that, for me to even be saying something out loud, it's bad.
Well, the Thunder, by the way, they won by 13, but really the big storyline, the Hall of Famer Michael Wilbon joining us, is really Devin Booker saying what he said. 11 years in the league, he's not one to go off on officials and name names.
James
Your
Williams.
reaction.
Poor James. Who's a good official who made a bad call. He was trying to save the ball either off the opponent's body or get it into somebody. He's trying to do that. Clearly, there should have been no technical. But let's see, the league office has been open for about 35 minutes for business.
Yeah.
And they're probably looking for a blank check from Devin Booker, because you do that. And Devin is, I mean, pretty even-tempered, I think we can say, over his decade in the league. That's not going to go down well. In a playoff series, to call out an official by name. So yeah, that's the secondary story from that game. The first one you hit on already. J-Dub's going out with a hamstring. Look, he only played, 32, 33 games this year?
Yep.
And so for him to now have that injury, something that persists, something that you can't figure out at all how long it's going to last, it doesn't hurt Oklahoma City in this series against Phoenix. It may not even hurt them in the next series, which looks like it'll be the Lakers.
Yeah.
But beyond that, whether you get Minnesota or Denver, San Antonio, that's going to be tough. And SGA referred to that, made reference to that specifically about needing him in the long haul to defend this championship after the game.
One thing, though, and it's a shout-out to Sam Presti and the way this team has been put together. They have so much depth.
They do.
So if you lose Jalen Williams for the rest of this series, you still have Chet Holmgren and so many other young guys that slide right in for now. You're not looking for a Robin the entire time like the Pistons, and we'll talk about that, of course.